Mr. GVV Sharma is holding a very important position today, looking after the National Disaster Management Authority of India, and he has been very kind enough. He's known as a man of simplicity, but a man of deep administration, and a man who can make a difference and change. He has discharged duties in various assignments in Nagaland and Odisha, served as collector and district magistrate in the districts of Nayagar and Jayasudha, worked in different sectors including MSME, ST and SC development, land administration, women and child, worked as an expert group in the Planning Commission of Land, Tribal Land Alienation. What touched us most is Mr. GVV Sharma reflects our Prime Minister Modi's simplicity, hard work, dedication and commitment, always smiling. Today, ladies and gentlemen, he is handling India's battle against the coronavirus crisis which is raging India. Please welcome Mr. GVV Sharma, IAS, Member Secretary, National Disaster Management Authority. Mr. Sharma.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vijay Prabhakar. I wish a very good morning to the dignitaries on dais and ladies and gentlemen. I would like to begin by stating that Honorable Prime Minister of India has enunciated his vision for disaster risk management in November 2016 on the occasion of Asian Ministerial Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction held here at New Delhi. And those 10 points which were enunciated by the Prime Minister are very, very important and very contextual. And I would like to test your patience if you can kindly pay attention and follow those 10 points. The first point was that all development sectors must imbibe the principles of disaster risk management. It looks a very simple statement, but you reflect it deeply. It does not say that disaster risk management is the job of a particular department. It does not say. Many people think that in Government of India, till the year 2005, the work of disaster management was handled by Agriculture Department, and after 2005, there was a change in the rules of business, and the work of disaster management went to Ministry of Home Affairs. This is what many people think. But this is a partial truth. This is not the full truth. What is the full truth? Look at the Prime Minister's statement. All development sectors, which means that all ministries of Government of India, all the departments of Government of India, all the state governments, including all the private sector as well as the community at large. All people must have an identity and a recognition of the principles of disaster risk management. This is extremely important. As you can see, the present challenge which the government is facing, that in our neighboring country, in China, large number of people have been affected by the coronavirus, and there is a possibility that the coronavirus may spread. Therefore, whatever are possible for containing at the airport entry points, at all the seaport entry points, including the land ports, how to do complete screening of the passengers who are coming from China, and what kind of protective steps have to be taken, and especially what are the special safeguards to be taken in respect of Indian persons who have returned from Wuhan. All these steps are being taken, and for this, the work is being pioneered and driven by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in Government of India and by the concerned state governments. Because it is a work where all have to come together and work hand in hand. So the most important point to be seen is that the disaster management or the disaster risk management is not the concern of any particular department. It is the work of everybody. This is one very, very important point which Honorable Prime Minister has highlighted. And then the second point in the 10-point agenda is that the risk coverage must include everybody, starting from the poor households to the small and micro enterprises, to multinational corporations, and to nation states. It is a global vision starting from the community, from the poor communities to everybody, including the nation states. The idea and the concern of disaster risk management must cover. The third point is very, very important. Madam is here, she would appreciate that earlier there was a concept that women require special attention during disasters. We had Kedarnath disaster, and you had large number of people to be rescued. Rescue women, children, and senior citizens first. So generally, the discussion was that women should be treated as some kind of people who deserve extra attention or extra care. But the Prime Minister's statement is the other way around. It says women's leadership and greater involvement of women in the work and in the tasks of disaster risk management should be central to the disaster management. So here you are treating women not as objects, you are treating them as subjects where they will bring in the change. They will see what is required for disaster risk management and how to enhance their leadership in the overall gamut of things which come under disaster risk management. This is one very, very important statement. The fourth point is how to invest in risk mapping globally in order to improve understanding of nature and the disaster risks. And this is extremely important in the context of climate change. As you know, many of the young people here may be aware that the 2015 is a landmark year for the United Nations, because the period from 2015 to 2030, the 15-year period, is covered by 3 important international agreements. One agreement was for reducing the emission of the poisonous gases, and that is called the COP21 agreement under the United Nations FCCC. That is a very, very important framework convention. The second is Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. And the third is Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction. All these 3 international frameworks have got India as a leader, which as a country that has participated in these frameworks and brought out those agreements, and also India has signed these agreements. So these important 3 agreements have got lot of common action points. So keeping all that in mind, the task that is given by the Prime Minister is how to develop an understanding of nature and the disaster risks. This is extremely important. And the 5th point was how to leverage technology to enhance the efficiency of the disaster risk management. And the next point was how to develop network of universities so that the knowledge is promoted in all the areas connected with disaster risk management. As you know, if you have a good technical university where civil engineering is taught, there is no reason why the civil engineering students should not be taught what is earthquake resistant technology. What are the special safeguards to be done in flood prone areas while attempting construction of buildings. There are so many ideas which are required in terms of new materials which are coming in the world. What is the material technology which is required so that you will bring more disaster resilient infrastructure when you take up various construction activities. So this is extremely important work. Similarly, the 7th point of action was how to utilize opportunities given by social media and the mobile technologies. Dr. Alfonso mentioned about some of the negative aspects of how technology or the mobile phones could have been misused. But the same mobile phone can be used properly if you are able to add applications which will help in the cause of disaster risk management. The 8th point of action which Honorable Prime Minister has directed is how to build local capacity and local initiative to enhance disaster risk reduction. Similarly, making use of every opportunity to learn from the previous disasters, how to draw lessons. In 99, Orissa, I had the opportunity to work in the super cyclone work. In 2001, there was the Bhuj earthquake in Gujarat. In 2004, we had the Indian Ocean tsunami. Then we had the Kedarnath incident in 2013 in Uttarakhand. There were floods in Srinagar in 2019. In all these disasters, what are the lessons that India has learned? The worst chemical disaster in the history of the mankind happened in 1984 in Bhopal. Many of you are aware. After Bhopal gas tragedy, what are the systemic manner in which we have built safeguards and we have developed checks and balances so that every chemical plant now in the country and every state government in the country now has got a disaster management plan, which is a holistic plan, which covers preventive aspects, disaster risk reduction aspects, and these plans are not remaining just on paper, but they are being tested by way of regular mock drills and training rehearsals, whether all these things are in place or not, and overall, whether the systemic improvement is constantly happening. That is the challenge to be drawn from this point. And the last point which the Honorable Prime Minister has indicated was how to bring about greater cohesion in international response to various disasters, both natural as well as human-induced. So getting the international response also in a coherent manner is extremely important, and in this endeavor also, India is going to play a very big role. As many of you may be aware, that Prime Minister in the last UN Climate Summit held in New York announced formation of a global coalition for disaster resilient infrastructure. And the same point which Finance Minister has made yesterday in her budget speech, how to have the disaster resilient infrastructure. And for the first time after the Disaster Management Act has been enacted, as you know, in 2005 the act has come into force, but for the first time, many of you may have read in the newspapers today morning, that Finance Minister announced in her budget speech yesterday that a disaster mitigation fund is being constituted. This is the first major step because the recognition that disaster risk has to be addressed, it has to be identified, it has to be understood, and it has to be worked upon without waiting for actual disaster to come. Before that, number of things have to be done, and this is the vision which Prime Minister of India has given. Now, administratively, this is a big challenge for all of us here, not only for people who are within the government, but also for the captains of industry and for the leaders of industry. This is a major challenge, how within your own industries you will develop and you will ensure safeguards and mechanisms to have high state of disaster preparedness, and how you can also help the local communities where your industry is based, in what manner you can help them in terms of capacity building to deal with disasters. This is an extremely important activity, and I am very thankful to the organizers for having given me this opportunity, and I hope that all of you will further deliberate during this workshop on the Prime Minister's vision with particular reference to disaster risk management. So thank you very much.